The storm had rolled in fast over the prairie, dark clouds swirling like angry spirits, lightning tearing through the sky, and the swollen river rushing louder than 100 hooves stampeding across the plains. He had been riding the ridge at sundown, reins gripped tight in his calloused hands, when he saw her, no more than a shadow against the wren running along the riverbank, with despair in her stride. The cowboy slowed his horse, narrowing his eyes beneath the brim of his hat, and something inside him whispered she was running from more than the storm. He watched as she staggered forward, sobbing, her dress heavy with rain, until suddenly, without a cry, she flung herself into the churning waters. His heart stopped cold. Without a thought, without hesitation, he spurred his horse, leapt from the saddle, and plunged into the violent current. The water clawed at him, pulled him under, but he fought with the strength of a man who had spent a lifetime wrestling the land. His hand finally caught her wrist, limp and trembling, and he dragged her toward the bank, coughing, gasping, refusing to let go. When at last he pulled her onto the muddy shore, she collapsed like a broken doll, her hair plastered to her face, her lips trembling with the breath she almost surrendered forever. He knelt beside her, chest heaving, eyes burning with a fire she couldn't understand, and whispered through the rain, "Don't you dare leave this world. Not tonight. Not like this." She tried to turn away, to hide her tears, but he gripped her shoulders firmly, his voice fierce yet gentle. "Live with me instead. I don't know your story, I don't know your pain, but I know this world still has something for you. And maybe, just maybe, I can give you a reason to stay." She looked at him then, really looked, and, through the blur of rain and sorrow, she saw a man who wasn't offering pity, but something stronger, a promise. That night, under the storm's rage, her broken spirit met his unshakable will, and the beginning of a story neither of them had seen coming was written on the river's edge, not in the cold arms of despair, but wrapped in the warm scent of coffee, wood smoke and leather. His ranch house stood quiet against the endless plains, the morning sun spilling gold across the horizon as if the world itself was starting over just for her. He moved around the kitchen with the calm rhythm of a man who had learned patience from the land, boots scuffing the wooden floor, kettle whistling low, his deep voice humming an old tune that carried more comfort than words. She sat at the table, fingers curled around the mug he set before her, staring at the man who had pulled her from death and offered her life instead. "Why?" she finally asked, her voice barely a whisper. He didn't answer right away. He simply looked out the window at the wide open sky, as if searching for words among the clouds. Then he turned back, his eyes steady and unflinching. "Because I've seen men give up," he said, "and I've seen what's lost when they do. You were ready to disappear, but something in me couldn't let it happen. Maybe I was meant to be there. Maybe we were meant to meet." Tears welled in her eyes again, but this time they weren't born of despair. They were proof of the first fragile hope she had felt in years. Days turned to weeks, and as she stayed, the ranch became more than shelter. It became a place where she learned to breathe again. She rode beside him across the pastures, laughed for the first time in forever when he tried to teach her how to rope, and discovered a strength she thought the river had stolen. And slowly the bond between them grew into something deeper, something neither of them dared to name, but both felt in every glance, every silence, every touch of hands that lingered longer than it should. What happened next wasn't a miracle of the land, but a miracle of hearts. Two broken souls finding wholeness in each other's company. And to everyone listening now, if this story touched you, if it reminded you that hope can rise even from the darkest waters, then don't let it end here. Subscribe to the channel, join our journey, and share this story so others can feel the power of second chances too. Because sometimes the right story at the right time can save someone from their own river.